Hi guys, come with me for a Bible study. Um, I'm reading in the book of John right now. It's a bunch of Jesus's miracles that he's done, and I think it fills my spirit. I just love it. I love him. Okay. I want to read John chapter 5. It's the healing at the pool. Now, before we get into this, I want to kind of give you an updated version of this before I read it. So, put yourself in the spot of this man in the story. And instead of the pool that is happening in this story, which we will get into, think of something that is a fleshly or worldly desire. Put that desire that you have in place of the pool. That's what I like to do with the Bible, because it's great and I love this, and I love the Bible, but I feel like if we put ourselves in these situations and these stories, it helps us better understand it. And I also would like to say, reading my Bible out loud, I love doing that. It helps me pay attention and just be in the story. You know what I mean? I don't know, but let's get into it. All right. The healing at the pool. Sometime later, Jesus went up to Jerusalem for one of the Jewish festivals. Now, there is in Jerusalem near Sheep Gate a pool, which in Aramaic is called Bethesda, and which is surrounded by 5 covered colonnades. Here a great number of disabled people used to lie. So they used that place to lie. So disabled people like the blind, the lame, and paralyzed. One who was there had been an invalid for 38 years. So he's been there for 38 years. That's a long time. When Jesus saw him lying there and learned that he had been in this condition for a long time, he asked him, "Do you want to get well?" I think because he's implying, what are you doing sitting here? Don't you want to get well? You've been here for a really long time. What's the confusion? Almost like he knows. I'm wondering if this man fell out of lost sight with God and believed in this different. He didn't think that God could heal him, so he went to this. You know what I mean? Kind of put yourself in that spot, okay? "Sir," the invalid replied, the guy, "I have no one to help me into the pool when the water is stirred. While I'm trying to get in, someone else goes down ahead of me." Then Jesus said to him, "Get up, pick up your mat, and walk." At once the man was cured. He picked up his mat and walked. The day on which this took place was a Sabbath. Hold on, let me go back to that one last verse. Then Jesus said to him, "Get up, pick up your mat, and walk." At once the man was cured. He picked up his mat and walked. Give me a second. I don't know how to word this, but Jesus can heal. He can heal. It's in the Bible. He does many miracles. He could raise a man from the dead if he wanted to. And he did. But I want to remind you guys that he can also use your faithfulness for him. And despite of your sickness, and despite of your depression, and despite of your fleshly desires, and you continue to follow God, and despite of your disabilities, And he can use that, your faithfulness, to show others. And God praises that. He knows that you're going through a hard time, and despite of that hard time, he knows that you are still praying to him and being faithful and following him. And he loves that, because you're walking like Christ, and you're showing others that it can be done, in despite of this evilness in the world. And I just think that's so beautiful. Anyways, hold on. Okay. The day on which this took place was a Sabbath. So the Jewish leaders said to the man who had been healed, "It is a Sabbath. The law forbids you to carry your mat." But he replied, "The man who made me well said to me, pick up your mat and walk." So they asked him, "Who is this fellow who told you to pick it up and walk?" The man who was healed, I don't have my glasses on, that's why I can't read. I can't see. The man who was healed had no idea who it was, for Jesus had slipped away into the crowd that was there. He did that on purpose, I think. He needed to be more private, because he wasn't ready for the unfortunate thing that was going to happen, the crucifixion, because that's what the Jews were trying to do to him, the Jewish leaders, because I'm sure I'll get into this in another video. But later Jesus found him at the temple and said to him, "See, you are well again. Stop sinning, or something worse may happen to you." He's warning him that the fleshly desires and worldly desires, the devil, he will get a hold of you again. So please don't fall into that again, and you will be okay. That's what he was saying, I believe. The man went away and told the Jewish leaders that it was Jesus who had made him well. Now, I don't know why he did that. I don't know if he was just excited, or the Jewish leaders came back to him and asked him again. But that's besides the point. When you put yourself in that situation, do you feel like you get a better understanding of it, other than just like reading words in an old story in the Bible? Like, that just helps me so much. So what I'm getting from this story for me is depression, anxiety, all these emotions, right? Because emotions are liars. They are. They're not. It's okay to have emotions, but to like fall into them and like keep going down into them and down into them and down into them, that's the devil's work. You're not supposed to just follow and follow your emotions. It's not it, babe. But putting myself into the story helps me understand it a little bit better, and I hope it helped you understand it a little bit better. And I read this one a couple days ago, the story, and God was moving me towards putting this on TikTok and Facebook. Maybe, I don't know if I'm going to put it on Facebook yet, but this one popped into my head. So whoever this reached, I hope it reached you well, and hope it reached you with an open mind. And you should get a Bible, and you should start reading it if you haven't. It's a beautiful thing. I wouldn't necessarily, if you are not a Christian and you want to learn about the Word and learn about God, the Bible is your answer. Preachers and churches are good, but sometimes they can be corrupt. Anybody and everybody could be corrupt, even preachers and churches. It's just the world. That's the world we live in. So just like with anything, you need to research it and learn about it yourself. And I pray this meets you at a good time. And thank you for reading one of my favorite stories.